Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Adia Nurnajha binti Masa and I'm from Group 5, and today our group will be presenting an article review about investigating learners' understanding on politeness and gender of advertisement in sociolinguistic, and also the studies of sociolinguistic theories of politeness in English as second language. So here are the table of content. So as you can see, today we will cover about introduction, table summary of the articles, discussion, and also conclusion, and the last one is the references.
So, without further ado, before we go deeper in presenting this article review about gender, politeness, and stereotypes, I would like to start with an introduction. So, gender, politeness, and stereotypes in sociolinguistic help to investigate how language use reflects and reinforces gender related to social norms. So, why is this important? It is because it impacts on identity, where gender, politeness, and stereotypes can actually influence an individual's identity and also their self-expression. So, this can affect our mental health and also our personal relationship. Next is understanding communication. So, gender influence how people communicate and understanding. This kind of patterns can help to improve their interpersonal interactions and to avoid misunderstanding. Secondly, promoting about gender awareness, where raising awareness about stereotypes can impact on individuals and also society, as well as encouraging critical discussions regarding about gender roles and also expectations. For the last purpose of the work is to empowering individuals, where it allows individuals to express themselves genuinely without the confines of gender standards. Hence, it also helps to improve their self-esteem. Next is the purpose of the work. So, the purpose of the work and its significance is to help enhancing communication, where it also helps to identify how gender affects on language use and etiquette strategies, with the goal to improving interpersonal communications and also to help eliminating misunderstanding.
Next, the main aim of the work. So, by reviewing this article on gender, politeness, and stereotypes, it can help us to understand more about how language can actually shape identities and roles. To identify norms, researchers look for similar speech patterns and politeness practices among various genders. Secondly, the studies aim to offer insight for language education and policy making to encourage a fair language use. They look at how this language can either reinforce or challenge gender stereotypes, as well as how power as this dynamic can affect the communication method. To sum up, this studies contributes to a better understanding of relationship between language, stereotypes, politeness, gender, and also society.
So moving on to article summary for Article 1, the article investigating learners' understanding on politeness and gender of advertisement in teaching sociolinguistic was written by Sylvia Utami. She was a student of the University Negeri Padang in Indonesia, and this article was published at Journal of English for Academic in August 2018. The purpose of this article was to investigate learners' understanding in identifying politeness and gender concepts, specifically in the context of sociolinguistic. This research was conducted at the Department of Literature of Stiba Persada Bunda Pekanbaru, which is in Indonesia, in the academic year 2017-2018. However, this population for this research was below 100%, which was only about 10%. Apart from that, Sylvia Utami found out that learners' understanding of politeness and gender concept in advertisement was at low level. Politeness and gender concepts that exist in advertisement can be easily watched frequently by learners in this digital era nowadays, and it is easy for them to study more about the concepts. In the findings, it has stated that the researchers have used two methods, which are quantitative methods by collecting data and followed by qualitative analysis as additional information. The data collection technique was involved by asking the learners to choose multiple choice questions, also by watching advertisement video. The questions consist of 30 questions from different advertisements that are taken from YouTube. The test was based on Lakoff's theory on gender and Brown and Levinson's theory on politeness. In this table, it shows the learner's ability on understanding the questions. The questions are divided into two questions, which are gender and politeness, then divided into two subtopics, which are women language and positive face and negative face, also politeness strategy. In this table, questions 1 to 10 and 16 to 25 were about gender types of questions, which fall into subtopic of women's language. Meanwhile, 11 to 15 and 26 to 30 questions were about politeness concept, which fall under subtopic of positive face and negative face, also politeness strategy. Furthermore, in the table 3.1 shows the ability on how the 5th semester of Stiba Persada Bunda Pekanbaru learners took their test. According to the score that was obtained by the learners, the most dominant score was in the poor level of category. However, in this test, there are only 2 learners who got fairly good level and 1 learner got good level, and the others got below 54 score for the exams, which are considered as fail. It can be seen that 10 5th semester learners of Stiba Pekanbaru could not grasp the idea of understanding gender and politeness concept and are categorized in poor level. In this case, learners should have more extensive examples in their daily life in the advertisement to make sure they enhance their cognitive skills to remember the features and politeness concept easily.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aina Akila binti Hayati and I am from group number 5. So now I will talk about the summary for the article 2. The title of the article is Studies of Sociolinguistics, Theory of Politeness in English as Second Language. This article was written by Asti Gumartifa, a student of the University Muhammadiyah Palembang. This article was published at Journey Journal of English Language and Pedagogy on 18 March 2022. The purpose of this article was to examine how politeness theory is applied in communication, especially when English is used as second language. This research was conducted by the English Department, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education. Linguistic politeness has emerged as an essential concept in the social study of language. Speaking English politely is a component of both sociolinguistic and pragmatic education. However, Asti Gumartifa found out that there are certain learners who don't speak English based on the sociolinguistic features. It actually can be affected by the language style, domain, gender, and also culture. This research used a descriptive qualitative methodology. So there are 8 theories of politeness in the article, including of Robin Lakoff's politeness theory. So in the article, he offers 2 main concepts for pragmatic competence, which is being clear and being polite. So for the first rule, which is be clear, it advised her to set the conversational guidelines at the beginning. So it actually implies that people would say anything appropriate for the conversation at hand when they are speaking. So now, let's take a look on the second rule, which is be polite. So it actually consisting of three sub-rules, which is don't impose, provide options, and also be pleasant. So what is don't impose? Don't impose means that the speakers should avoid pressuring others, maintaining the distance, and also respect. So moving on to the provide options. Instead of direct commands, speakers should give the listener choices using hedges or mitigated speech to soften the request. For an example, using passive constructions like breakfast is served is less imposing and more polite than directly saying, would you like to eat? And for the last sub-rules, which is be pleasant, it encourages a positive atmosphere by making communication enjoyable, which can foster smoother interactions. Now, let's moving on to the next theory, which is Brown and Levinson's politeness theory that was introduced in 1978. Their theories are absolutely the greatest and have proven to have received a ton of feedback, applications, critiques, and also revisions. So their names have come to be practically synonymous with the idea of civility. So in year 1978, they have introduced the concept of face in communication. They have explained that every person has two types of face or social desires, which is a positive and negative face. A positive face means the desire to be liked, respected, and also approved. It also can be considered that people want validation and appreciation from others. For a negative face, it actually means the desire for autonomy and also freedom from imposition. Politeness in communication aims to balance these phases by acknowledging both the need for recognition and desire for independence. Politeness helps preserve social harmony. So this is proven how Brown and Levinson's ideas remain central to understanding how we navigate courteous interactions. For an example, if a speaker wants to maintain a person's positive face, they will be supportive and also encouraging, while protecting a negative face involves giving the listener options to avoid pressure or imposition. Ultimately, communication is more than just the literal meaning of words. It actually can be influenced by various social factors that shape how we speak and also interact. Politeness theory managed to highlight the importance of understanding these elements to achieve effective and respectful communication.
According to the article, it can be concluded that there are so many similarities in politeness. For example, for the first article that we have reviewed from Sylvia Utami, she focuses more on examining the student, for instance, helping them better understand the sociolinguistic concept of gender and politeness by doing an advertisement. Sylvia Utami also mentioned that the majority of students frequently utilize technology as a marketing tool to achieve her goal of understanding about the student thinking about gender and politeness. Sylvia Utami addressed the topic clearly and stated that the sociolinguistic courses for English literature cover politeness and gender. These days, students typically use technology as their primary learning aids, and she wants to find out how well kids comprehend gender and etiquette principles through creating commercial. In the current digital age, the majority of them spend more time on internet resources than reading a physical book, and they regularly watch advertisements. The study also demonstrates that the research question is how are the learners' ability in understanding politeness and gender existing in advertisement. Sylvia Utami used quantitative method followed by qualitative as additional information. And last but not least, one aspect of Sylvia Utami's study that I find quite disturbing during reading it is that she frequently brings up the same topic on the different pages, which can make it me as a reader difficult in understanding her content very well. In spite of the lengthy paragraph she composed, the content was repeated repeatedly, and it demonstrates her incompetence in writing this piece, which could result in negative comment from the reader. However, we as readers found all of the material she provided was very helpful, and she included an appendix in her paper which helped the reader better comprehend the fact by displaying the table. But she still needs to work on arranging the core idea, the point, and the issue themselves in her writing. And now moving on to the next article, which is article 2 from Asti Gumativa. Asti Gumativa article focuses on politeness as a part of sociolinguistic and formative learning that referring to linguistic elements connected with social norms such as respect, empathy, courtesy, and separation. Besides that, Asti Gumativa examines the issue that influence culture, gender, language style, and domain based on sociolinguistic features. Furthermore, from those articles, the Asti Gumativa also did a great job of exposing and explaining the issue of the research group, the theories of politeness application, the idea of phase in politeness, and the many kinds of politeness, all of which are clarified by division and categorization of politeness are all informed by the researchers. Asti Gumativa, on the other hand, provides an article that corresponds to the fact and is supported by many other writers. The article is well written and truly expressed, offering insightful perspective on the relationship between politeness, gender, and advocacy. The clarity with which complex concepts are presented improve the reader understanding. I particularly appreciate the extensive analysis of linguistic tactics and their ramification for social norm. Example, some places really illustrate the point of view, making the information both entertaining and accessible for the readers that can benefit from reading the paper in various ways, beginning with a better knowledge of the immediate relationship between politeness, gender, and how politeness works in different ways. Finally, students are the most suitable targeted audience in reading this article because this research will help them a lot in exploring the context in a broader way. Most of this research provided such a great information as I mentioned above. Some of them use lack of theory and wrong on the reason why doing their research. It shows that as a reader, we will put more trust in reading it when the information was provided in an educated method. And as a result, most of this study show differences on how to measure politeness in other ways.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, I'm Tunku Raihana. So we are finally at the end of our presentation, and as everybody knows, we have referred to two different journal articles about politeness and gender in sociolinguistics to make this report. And in this section, I will conclude everything in a simple way. To make it short, from the first journal, we have found that the research from a survey made at the university in Indonesia that many these new generations do not know how to differentiate between politeness and gender, which we anonymously can say that it is a serious issue that can lead to the lack of social values and communication. Moving on to the second journal. From this journal, we have found that the writers have arranged various definitions for the concept of politeness, which we can say it brings to one similarity, which is to establish a higher quality in interaction between the speaker and the listener. Finally, to conclude everything, we believe that social linguistics should be applied in academic, especially in the early stages, to nourish the understanding of social in linguistic. From these two journal articles, we also believe that social linguistics is important to foster social values. For example, when they communicate with respected people or elderlies, they know how to communicate educatedly and respectfully, politely. When they understand the learning of social linguistics, and the most importantly, when one understands the concept of social linguistics and interacting, we can prevent misunderstandings for both genders while interacting. So female should understand how male talks and male should understand how female talks. In this way, we can build a harmony and peace society. We've also provided some references that we've used in making this report. So that's all from us. Thank you.